Okay, we are live in less than a minute now.
Okay,
Okay, so we can just
got it.
focus.
Better. Yeah.
अभी आएगा, अभी यहाँ नहीं दिखाया है मुझे. हाँ, अब we are live.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, rest of the people who have joined. Usually we are not getting many people to listen to us. I hope you will enjoy. And please feel free to also interact with Parulben whenever you feel that you would like to jump in. We'll keep it interactive in that way. And I'm sharing the live link with you personally in case you like to share. But I also have to share with all our previous speakers who are in one WhatsApp group and they watch you very fondly. Okay. So just that you'll, I think Madhvi Ben will also join today. So let's see. Because she is after you on next Saturday.
Oh, great.
So, because I really wanted to celebrate with people like you and Madhvi Ben because 75 is a celebration time, you know. So, so I thought it's nice. So she's aware of it. So, okay, I am set from my side. Whenever you say, we can start the session. Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. I will record now.
Yeah.
Warm greetings. Welcome to another session of Women in Architecture. We have been doing this session for quite some time now. I'm really privileged to have reached 74 sessions. The discussion on women in architecture is about understanding the nuances of being women in the profession, and it is placed in the larger purview of being in the diverse field of the built environment for those women who have been practicing architecture in various forms. It's not only confined to practice as we know. This session is conducted with the support of Eco Development and Research Cell, a not-for-profit initiative of the Environmental Design Consultants Ahmedabad. This is Mansi Balbhargav from the House of EDC and the host for the discussion, and it's also my personal research journey, which I am doing in this series. We are glad to take this study with women engaging in the practice and pedagogy of the built environment to celebrate the presence and participation in shaping the built environment. The objective is to learn, document, and disseminate their journey. Those who choose to practice, research, educate, do artwork, activism, and a mix of many of those in a multi and transdisciplinary approach to chart their career. Through the study, we wish to acknowledge and appreciate their contribution. Besides, bring forth the critical points that needs to be addressed at individual, institutional, and collective level as what makes or breaks the career of women in architecture in India. The study allows us to implicitly understand how women maneuver their lives to find their purpose and stay afloat in the profession, but at the same time, explicitly, we wish to build role models for current and future generations so that it gets normalized in the society that women are doing good architecture. It's a call for action for everyone to realize that the need for equitable architecture profession is not merely a slogan, but it is also a step towards equitable and sustainable built environment. The method we use in this study is called autoethnography, which simply means the life journey of the person whom we are going to talk about and researcher spell. The method includes semi-structured, open-ended interaction followed by developing a video series. As I will say that please go and check our 73 videos which are online, open access, and listen to the wonderful women who have talked about their life journey and will help many young people to think how they should chart their path. We are also hoping to come up with a coffee table book once we complete our planned target of 100 special women in this country. Today we have Parul Javeri. We call her Parul Ben in Ahmedabad very fondly, all of us in the fraternity. And I really look forward to learning about her journey of life. I have known her for many years, although she doesn't know me, which she does not have to because we are very young. And we have known their work with Nimish Patel sir, because with whom I was very, I will say, close to as a student, as a mentor, and through Nimish sir, I actually knew about Parulben. Before I invite Parulben, a big thank you to Parulben for actually agreeing to do the 74th session with us. And now a quick overview before I get her to the conversation. Parul Javeri is a co-founder of Abhikram Ahmedabad, focusing on conservation of resources and conservation of the built and cultural heritage. Her interest lies in alternate technologies. She's focusing on disseminating knowledge through publications, lectures, and archiving the organization's work. She's also focusing on advising built environments for human comfort and sustainability and contextual solutions, promoting conservation of India's cultural heritage through the revival and survival of traditional knowledge and wisdom. And this is where I also must add here, and this is where I also came to know about Nimish Patel sir when I was working on lakes of Ahmedabad, and he was our teacher. And thank you so much, Parul Ben. It's also a tribute to Nimish sir because we cannot talk about you alone without speaking about him. So that makes a very good beginning. So I'm sure he will be happy that we come together to speak because this is also the first time we are talking on a formal platform. So welcome, and I hope you are ready for the conversation.
Thank you, Mansi, for inviting me to be a part of this journey that you have taken up and bringing the lives of, say, 100 women architects for public.
Yes.
You know, for them, the younger generation to see and learn, and also for people in general, not just the architecture students, but what we have all gone through, how we have learned, what have been, you know, the high points and the low points in our lives, which I don't think male architects understand as well.
Yes, we are going to get into it. Yes.
Neither do the male, you know, clients or other, that gender. Uh, and I think this should help. I've been listening to some of the interviews that you've taken, and it comes out very clearly their struggles. And so here I am.
Thank
And I
you.
thank all people who are, you know, who have joined the link and are listening to us.
Yes. Thank you. So I'm going to take you back some decades ago when you
Yeah.
started. So early career, college days, was there something like, being woman is going to be different in the profession? Did you and Nimish Bhai started together? How was it in your early career? I would like to just make a picture of young Parul, just getting into architecture. What was it?
Getting into architecture, that is the one.
And
You want to
beyond,
start from
early
there?
career.
Okay,
Yes, yeah.
okay,
Getting into and beyond, yes.
okay.
Because in your time, it was not even a popular field to be an
No,
architect as woman.
true, true. But when I was in fifth standard, our house was being designed,
Oh.
actually being constructed.
Hmm.
And uh, before that, I think my sister was to go abroad in 60s, and that's the time that it started. The
Hmm.
design part started. The architect would come to our house because he was a family friend,
Hmm.
and I've seen the plans being drawn, you
Hmm.
know, sketches being discussed, and
Hmm.
then seen the foundations being dug and the whole building come up.
Hmm.
So that is where my interest started in the first
Hmm.
place. And
Hmm.
then it was, of course, you know, added to that was one of our uncle who was staying in uh, Paris. He used to
Hmm.
come every year and then talk about Paris and Leonardo da Vinci and Europe. And because he had gone there after the First World War,
Hmm.
and he had seen his time, you know, during the Second World War. He was very much there. And so all the description of what happened
Hmm.
was very interesting. And my sister sending me postcards from there, from while visiting Europe and from England. That was another interesting part of the buildings. But
Hmm.
my family also traveled. We used to travel to various places in Rajasthan, the temple complexes, and the Palitana temple complex. And my sister studied in Jaipur. She did her medicine in Jaipur.
Mm.
So for those 6 years also, every vacation we used to go there.
Mm.
So, influenced by that kind of architecture. And though we live on the west side of the river Sabarmati, I mean, much before I was born, uh, the relief road that you know of in Ahmedabad,
Yes. Mm.
um, it's under that some of the foundations of our earlier house is still
Mm.
lying there.
Oh. Mm.
So that's when my family moved on to the west coast.
Best. Mm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
So
demolition happened to bring that relief road.
yes. So we had our relatives there. So again, during any festivals and again short vacations, we would go and stay there, and stay with friends, relatives, etc., and enjoy that life, whether it was kite flying or it was the summer vacation, and you were roaming around the streets without being affected by any heat, and
Mm.
sleeping on the terraces, not actual terrace, it's on the slanting corrugated sheets.
Mm.
Summers were always on the terrace for us here,
Mm.
and
Mm.
in the city it could be a terrace or it could be slanting sheets. So it was always very something that architecture was very much a part of my
Mm.
life. I think
Mm.
exposed to various kinds of
Mm.
structures and I would say lifestyles of
Mm.
people.
Mm.
And then I came across again when I was in seventh or eighth or ninth standard, met Malika Sarabhai. She
Mm.
was studying in Shreya school.
Mm.
And then we used to go there. And once my sister returned from UK,
Mm.
during the vacation, she would say, "You can't sit at home, you have to go and do some work."
Mm.
So she had sent me to Shreyas Foundation to be a part of every year they used to have a festival.
Mm.
And that time they would make their own stage.
Mm.
So I was supposed to go and help Pal Babu be
Mm.
part of that, making the stage because he came from
Mm.
Shanti Niketan.
Mm.
So then again, you see that whole Shreyas campus, you're impressed by something like that. And then talking with Malika's parents, that is Ranalini Sarabhai
Mm.
and
Mm.
Dr. Vikram
Vikram Bhai.
Sarabhai, and getting exposure to that kind of architecture, which was very Wrightian architecture because Giraben had
Mm.
worked with him.
Mm.
And you could see those influences there. And I really loved it.
Yes.
And they would talk about, say, solar energy and wind energy coming from Vikram Bhai. We were children, but he would
Yes.
be exposing us to that. And Amma would be exposing us to all arts, crafts, dance, all that.
Mm.
And then, and one of my cousin was working on the site, though she was doing something in one of the buildings, and he was put there as site engineer from the contractor's side. So he would come and talk about Doshi.
Mm.
And that's how I knew I want to go into architecture. My
Okay.
sister was a doctor
Mm.
and she had a very good practice running. So everyone wanted me to join her.
Mm.
But I
Mm.
said, I can't study that much. I cannot mug things. And I'm not the one who's going to keep awake till late nights. That's what I thought.
In that time you thought, I know where it is going now.
But once you enter architecture college, there is no way.
That
This keeps
you
you
don't
going.
work hard. Yes.
Yes. So
I
that's
think
how
the
I got
difference in
in.
difference in architecture is that we love to work hard in the night.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
changes. So how was it when you were actually studying architecture? Did you ever felt that being a woman or a girl is going to be different once we are outside in the world to really make our mark? Or it was the bindasiyat which the education also gives us? And of course, some of us probably were born a little bit more a brave child, so we dreamt of conquering the world right from there. How was it with Parul? Did you ever did anyone ever make you feel, or did you also had this doubt or ounce of doubt that it will be different as being woman, or how is it?
See, the community I come from, which are the Visa Oswals,
Hmm.
there they don't differentiate between male and female child.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm,
I never felt that difference
hmm,
then. And the society that we lived in also, it was
hmm,
not like that. And then I was studying in convent. So
hmm.
again, that was girls'
There
school.
are, yeah.
But then coming to architecture college, that's when you start realizing people talking about, oh, women, not women,
Hmm,
you people are females,
hmm,
girls,
hmm,
you
hmm,
won't be able to do this or you won't be able to do that.
hmm, hmm,
And those kind of
hmm,
conversations you start facing, and that is quite shocking that why are these
hmm, hmm,
people
hmm,
talking like this?
hmm, hmm, hmm.
And since my sister was a doctor, she, and a very good doctor, so she always commanded
Ah.
respect.
Yes, we have
Uh,
acceptance for woman lady doctor. A lot of
yes,
respect.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So I did not expect that it's going to be like this.
Hmm.
Uh, but later on, one realized as one joined the profession, Nimish
Hmm.
and I, Nimish was 3 years senior to me,
Okay. Hmm.
and he went abroad. And when he came back, when his father was ill,
Hmm. Hmm.
I had 1 more year to go, but then there was
Hmm.
no chance of him coming back because we were not wanting to accept money from the family,
Hmm.
wanted to, do everything, yeah, ourselves. So we got married
Hmm.
and I joined him
Hmm.
into Boston, and I took up as many courses as I could.
Hmm.
And then at MIT, Nimish was there. So as a spouse, I was, without paying fees, as an
Hmm.
affiliate, I was allowed to take whatever courses I wanted and got
Okay, nice.
certificates for it.
Hmm.
But I was always keen to work on solar and wind energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And Doshi used to come, and he had come twice, and he was staying with us in Boston. And
Hmm.
that's the time when he would invite his friends like Moshe Safdie and
Hmm.
Ardalan
Hmm.
and people
Hmm.
like that for
Hmm.
dinner at our place. All of them
Nice.
sitting on the ground and, discussing. So we had the dean of Harvard School and then the dean of BU. And then Doshi would say, where do you want the admission? I said, I've attended, classes at MIT, and this is about heating the buildings. I don't want to do that. I want to learn about cooling the buildings.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So then we went, once Nimish graduated, we went towards Arizona. I got
Hmm.
my admission in ASU, and I wanted to work with Paolo Soleri.
Wow. Hmm.
So I went and did his workshops. It
Hmm.
was in Arco Santi
Hmm.
in the mountains in
Hmm.
Cordes Lakes. And then uh, I joined his office for a
Hmm.
while, but Nimish couldn't find a job there
Hmm.
because wherever he went, they would say you're too overqualified. Coming
Oh.
from MIT and MArch, AS, and all that.
Hmm.
So finally, but then Solari found a job for him.
Oh. Hmm.
And that other architect wanted him to, work, experiment with materials,
Hmm.
basically
Hmm.
do experiment. But then Nimish wanted to do his PhD. So he wrote to a person he thought he could do PhD with, um,
Hmm.
Professor Saini in Australia.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
he guided Nimish to go to Nigeria
Hmm.
for the kind of topic that he wanted to work on. So I had to give up my admission at ASU and then go with him to Nigeria.
Oh. Hmm.
In between, I went and completed my studies at CEPT. And because though she had seen me there and all, so a lot of my certificates were accepted, and I only had to do my studio and a thesis, which which I completed. And then I again went back to Nigeria and worked with Nimish. And not, I mean, I worked there with an architect in Makurdi. No, not Makurdi. Anyway, and then we went to Makurdi, where again I worked with the Diocese of Makurdi as an architect. And then we came back to India, traveling all over Europe and England. And we knew that from day one, that we will come back to India. We don't want to get settled there in US.
Okay.
And the kind of variety that we have in our architecture, culture, etc., which we found lacking in US, except in the nature. That was another eye opener for us.
Yes.
And so we decided that, you know, what we start our practice immediately, and we must, you know, we had established some days in our practice that we will, whatever we do, will have to be culturally and climatically rooted to the local traditions.
Yeah.
And innovativeness is not, it is essential for Indian conditions, for a poor developing country. And every penny, like what Professor Horatio taught us at MIT, that developing countries have less money. So we have to make sure that every penny is utilized well. So all those things stayed with us. And though she would say, why not? You know, why can't you try this? And Professor Horacio Caminos would say, why? You have to have an answer for every line that you draw.
Yes.
So between that, we started our practice.
Yeah. So in the early practice now, if you look back, so those decades of work, how was it with the treating you on the side? Of course, in the office, you were your own boss, so nobody is going to see the difference and between, of course, you and
that's
Nimish
a myth.
But how is a myth?
It's a myth.
Let's hear. Because I have also gone through that syndrome. Bhabhi, aap
Yes.
side mein baithiye. Yeah, I have lived that for 20 years. So I also have a spouse in the same field. For 20 years, I was the Bhabhi sitting at the side, even though I have worked on the design. So
exactly. Only Nimish gets credited for that. But one exception was always Nimish's side of family. I mean, his cousins and all. And his friends. Whenever I designed for them, they gave me the credit.
Okay.
And they would call me and not Nimish.
I still face the same in my family, actually.
But whereas others, even if where Nimish wouldn't even have visited the site or had nothing to do with that client will still say that this is Nimish Bhai's design.
that is something socially ingrained, not only in architecture but also in many things. I mean, I have tried to point it out to many people because it's considered that okay, the man in the house has done everything. It's like a family name goes like this, which is also very interesting. But good that we really had it in a very candid way that no, in office also it's not the same thing. Of course, inside, go ahead.
Because the male architects, they would, and if they're senior to me, then they would just accept Nimish as the boss. It is very difficult. Even, I mean, the way a peon would react to Nimish is demands, or the other architects, the way they would react and the way they would be ready to do things, especially people who came from Ahmedabad or other places. But people who came from Bombay were different.
Hmm. Yes,
Have
you
you
can
lived
see
in
the
Australia?
regional differences.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, very much
Hmm.
so. So
Hmm.
there I found even after 30 years also, one
Uh-huh.
of our senior architect will not accept,
Hmm.
you know, uh, but then gradually things started changing in the office
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
people used to be very scared of Nimish. So
Hmm.
many a times, the way Nimish would get angry and fire them up, I had to be the bridge.
So, so again, like home, the mom syndrome.
Yes, yes. But on site, of course, one had to, again gain respect. But I think it was probably easier when you were working with traditional craftspeople
Hmm.
to gain their respect.
Yes.
Uh, it was easier than getting it from their modern contractors and engineers.
Hmm. Hmm.
They would see your sincerity and you sit and
Hmm.
work with them.
Hmm.
And Nimish and I had this attitude of telling them that you are our guru.
Hmm.
You know the material better than
Hmm.
us.
Yes.
That is something we learned way ahead in life.
Hmm.
And more so when we started working in Rajasthan on conservation projects.
Hmm.
And first
Hmm.
time we came to know about our traditional
Hmm.
architecture and the
Hmm.
principles of design and execution and
Hmm.
materials. And they were, but the minute you give them that respect, things change.
Hmm. Yes.
And even with the carpenters, we would design something and we'll ask them that, please give your inputs. Will this work?
Hmm.
Everywhere, we would take clients' inputs as well as the craft person's input
Hmm.
because we wanted always to design for the user and not for our ego.
Hmm. Hmm.
We never ever had any forms in mind when we were designing.
Hmm.
They just had to emerge from clients' needs, local contexts, the materials available, and it had design and the building had to emerge from that, based on that.
Hmm.
And we felt that there should be continuity with change. That's what Rajasthan taught us.
Hmm.
600 years of a palace, and you still see that continuity. There is change, but there is still a continuity. It's not like
Yes.
our modern architecture,
Hmm.
where every city starts looking the same. Every place had a character because of the local materials. And that's what shaped the culture, arts, crafts. That is what we realized. And we really felt that, architectural education does not give any importance to these things.
Yeah.
And we are
So
just
true.
enamored by uh, modern architecture, Bauhaus, and the theories.
Yeah.
And
Despite that, we are rich in architecture in our own country.
yes, and until we started working in Udaipur, we did not realize that there were so many Indian architects.
Hmm.
One called Mandan, he has written 11 books.
Hmm.
For Rana Kumbha, he has built 50 forts.
Hmm.
And no one knows about him. The Ranakpur
Yeah.
temple that everyone talks about is again designed by an architect. And there, every craft person had the person under that main architect had the freedom to put in his bit of design
Hmm.
input.
So I'm
And
I'm going
that's
to
what,
pick here. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. No, no, ask
Now,
me.
I have to ensure that we are in the domain of women talking.
Yes,
So
yes,
I have
yes.
to, because I know these topics are close to your heart and we can talk
Yes.
about architecture endlessly. But because you talked about no one knew him, I want to pick my next question from that point.
Hmm.
Why are not many women architects known in the country? So I'm just taking your point so that we can
Yeah,
continue the
yeah.
conversation. Although I have a couple of more questions before this question also. when I look through the records and statistics in the world, not only in India, most famous male architects had their spouse also as compatriot or colleague as women architects. In India, we can still see many. However, I feel very proud to be associated with you, Nimish Bhai, Meena Ben, KB Jain sir, Madhvi Ben, Vicky Desai sir. For me, all six of you really stand tall in me also doing this research. To be honest, I would really like the profession to be running the way I saw you six people right from my early career. I'm talking about 1995. But the profession is not like that. I don't see such couples in the country like I see three couples like you. Why do you think women architects have not really found the deserved name? Why don't we know many of women architects who have either spoused, and even if they are practicing solo? When I started this research, I used to talk to people because I'm also a public speaker, so I go to many places. I conduct a workshop on engendering architecture
Okay.
as part of this work as well. I asked students, name 10 big women architects in the country, 5 big women architects in the country. Students struggle to give me names
Yes.
to the extent that they don't even tell their teacher's name, because teachers are also architects, at the end of the day. So they cannot imagine.
Yes.
And I feel that they, in a way, they also limit the very definition of architecture, who is an architect, and also the very definition of successful or famous is also very skewed. And in a society which is highly patriarchal, we have a notion of leadership also being male, just like the boss. But what are the other? So these are all what I'm telling from my background study and literature review. What do you think are the reasons why women architects are not so well known? I started only with the contractor, to be honest, very honest. When I studied material in my second year of architecture, I'm talking about 1990 or 91. And then when I went for my first internship, it was with Meena Jain. And then I came to know about all the three couples I'm talking about, my favorite
Okay.
couples in the country, and the perfect way architecture practice should happen if of course the spouse is from the same field. But what are the other reasons why women don't make it into the top chart of the well-known architects or successful architects? And this is
One thing.
globally, not India
Again,
alone, Parul Ben,
no,
you know
no,
it.
it's all over. Yeah. But one more thing.
Hmm.
I think, I'm sure Mickey and Madhvi have the same story, and I'm sure,
We will
I
hear next
think,
week.
yeah, but the way Nimish and I used to fight,
Hmm.
people would think that we are going ahead with a divorce.
And then I feel comfortable because I thought, oh my God, we are cats and dogs in my
No,
office.
no.
We are no more cats and dogs because we found a different way to work.
Yes. But let me tell you, when I had a separate office because a couple of Nimish's projects, though we designed together, one
Hmm.
thing that we did, one was a North Pole, one was South Pole. So we designed separately and then came down. So every
Hmm.
design that you see
Hmm.
is with inputs of both of us.
So joint collaboration. So
Uh, Absolute collaboration.
hmm.
Of course, we would have fought a lot.
That's part of the
It's
game.
yes, yes. And but then I got a place near my house which I wanted, and I had my office separately. That
Hmm.
was a totally different situation.
Oh.
Even
Hmm.
whether they were males or women, everyone accepted me
Hmm.
as the lead person,
Because
as the
Nimish Bhai was
boss.
not in the office as the boss.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, that speaks a lot for me to understand how things are. So
Yeah,
eventually, you have to also establish your way of working, even if you come together as
absolutely,
collaborators.
absolutely, absolutely. That's when we started deciding to have our separate teams.
Hmm.
And that the one of us will have the final say in a project.
Mm. Whoever is the project belongs
Yeah,
to.
belongs to,
Mm.
you know. So that made things slightly easy. But those 3-4 years that I was away, there
Mm.
even the clients would accept you
Mm.
because you
Once you
were
say you
alone.
are independently practicing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
But because then we went into financial difficulties, we
Mm.
had to again sell that office and I had to go back to the same rented place that Nimish and I were practicing from
Mm.
because
Mm.
some of our projects did not take off
Mm. Which is
and
very
some
common in
clients
architecture, very struggling.
did not pay.
Absolutely, which is also difficult. I hear from previous conversations that many women actually struggle to get the finance part sorted out with
Yeah,
a male-dominated developer community and clients.
yeah,
That's also a big challenge for women to continue to practice independently. I mean,
true.
I faced it terribly, to be honest, and also getting a project resolved in the office will be extremely difficult. And of course, we all have our personal choices beyond that. I just want to know another thing about being women in the profession. And so I'm going actually a question
Yeah,
before, which I usually ask. Uh, Many aspiring women like us, I will put both of us in that shoe. Especially, I see you that you had much more clarity from your childhood to be in the profession of building industry. We somehow are very successful in converging our passion, profession, and personal life together to somehow stitch it over the years. Maybe initially, of course, a lot of struggles and
yes,
jigsaw puzzles, what to do. But
yes, yes.
somewhere the way we have been groomed in the childhood, we somehow carried this superwoman syndrome, that I would like to conquer the world. Even though I
Yes.
come from a very poor background, to be honest, no one ever did architecture. No one's ever studied outside house in a hostel, going to different city. And so and also, people cannot even pronounce architecture in the house. So that's a different story altogether. But still, this whole desire or aspiration, not desire, but aspiration to conquer the world and do everything possible, even without thinking any gender issue.
Yeah.
Do you think that superwoman syndrome actually either pushes us to do everything to be best in the personal life because we are also taught that you have to take care of the house? But then somewhere the seed of, the passion that like you were so keen about sustainability, energy in the building, that we find a way. So what is Parul Javeri's mantra to find her passion, profession, and personal life over the years, and what will be your mantra for others? How to do that? How do you keep balancing those acts?
Whatever I feel from inside,
Mm,
I just do it. Like
mm,
right since I was a kid, I
mm,
wanted to have a farm,
mm,
but I was a Jain. When we moved to this new house, and my mother also came from a village background,
mm, mm,
so she started growing lots of vegetables.
mm,
And even before that, wherever we were staying in a rented place, there were huge plots.
mm,
So there we used to try and do something compost. The children would start try and do compost, whatever we read and they teach in our schools. So uh, that was my passion. I always wanted to do that.
mm,
So once some laws were revised, Nimish
mm,
being a Patel and they had the land also, he was a farmer in any case. So finally, we were able to buy some plot near
mm,
Ahmedabad,
mm.
and I started farming
Wow.
because I felt when we are, I mean, doing sustainable farming, organic farming
Mm,
was my passion, and our one of our client, very we were close to, the John and Faith Singh.
mm,
Uh, John was a farmer too. He
mm,
converted a desert land into
mm,
absolutely green patch of land, and that
mm,
was my inspiration. That okay, I can also do it.
mm, mm, mm,
And So whenever I felt something strong from inside,
Hmm.
I just went ahead and did that.
Mhm. Without thinking the consequences?
Yes, and both of us.
Let me add that. Let me add it there because I
Oh,
think that's
Nimish and I
something
were
is
both like that. We were
uh,
both like that.
uh, so
Think of the consequences later on, but if you feel
let's
it,
commit to yes.
yeah,
Mm.
just
So
do
I
it.
think this is something which all the younger generation also have to think about taking risks, which is the profession itself is full of risks. For 7, 10 years, you really have to find out how to work in
Absolutely,
the profession.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely.
What do you think when I look at the statistics again? Many women choose the path of being educator, and unfortunately, the profession recognizes them as teacher and no more as architects. And I see many women also. I'm just giving some examples to find out your response. I also see when I'm talking to people and also looking at the background studies, many women have also diversified, from doing main construction buildings, like because we are taught architecture is about constructing buildings, which I have serious objection still
Yeah,
date, because I work
absolutely.
in water and water still is not part of architecture. For me, that is kind of God who will save
Yeah,
all of us.
absolutely. Yeah,
And I'm still failing for last 20 years to make water part of architecture education, because for us water is then beautification of making riverfront and lakefront and fountains, and I object to that. But
absolutely.
having said that, many women have diversified their energy, and that is where my previous question was also, that passion, profession, and personal life, to look at many interesting aspects of built environment, sustainability being one of them. People are working on different ways, like I'm working on water. I know some friends who are working on light. I know some people who are working on gender, some people working on public space. But somehow, the moment we diversified, many of my own water sector friends don't even know that I am an architect. So just to give an example,
Yeah.
so why do you think the architecture profession is so confined to only making buildings? Where did we go wrong? And and I feel where did we go wrong is very pertinent question, because most of the women who have diversified from not making buildings to doing other things, from farming to working on water or working on gender or working on children, they no more qualify as architects, and that also reduces the number of women who are doing good things. And this is something which I found from background. And most of our 75 women whom we will interview by next Saturday, most of the women are doing some interesting work and not confining themselves to making buildings. What is your take on it? Because your work is also beyond just making buildings. Conservation itself is a huge
Yeah.
body of work, conserving not only the building, but cultural heritage. You have worked on different, landscape of heritage, not only just building landscape, but also
The water
textile,
collection,
music.
yeah,
Yes, so
yes,
I know
yes,
that
yes.
you have worked on it, but then why do you think we lack the very definition of architecture in this way? Because I feel that many women are then lost in the recognition, that they are not architects.
I have only education to blame. We are
I
so
so much agree with
westernized,
you.
so
Yeah.
westernized, and in our thinking, we
Hmm.
just don't know about our roots.
Hmm.
It's
Even though we are
conservation.
all Western educated, you and me are all
Yes,
Western, but
yes,
still we
yes,
want
yes.
to, yes, be rooted.
Absolutely, absolutely. The
Hmm.
way we realized that while we were doing perspective plan
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
INTAC, for
Hmm.
conservation of Udaipur,
Hmm.
our studies, meeting people, etc., we realized that every aspect of our built heritage or man-made heritage was resultant of the natural heritage.
Yes.
And that's what made us realize the importance of the lakes and how they were made in Udaipur
Yes.
and why
Absolutely.
they have to be resolved. And that is
Hmm.
when we had to, as part of our policy, that recommendation that they have to make
Hmm.
more lakes upstream, which finally they have done.
Mm.
And that's why
Yes.
even in summer, you see water in the lakes of
Mm.
Udaipur.
Mm.
And so all this, along with the kind of clients we met and the karigars that we met,
Mm.
we learned a lot from them. We
Mm.
have otherwise the kind of attitude that we are taught is to
Mm.
teach the client
Mm.
how to live, how to do
Mm.
this. Whereas
Mm.
the minute the Maharana Arvind Singh ji
Mm.
asked us to work for him for the
Mm.
palace, and we said we don't know anything about the palace except seeing it as a museum.
Mm.
So you will have to hold our hand.
Mm. Mm.
And
So true.
and that clears up the whole air.
Mm.
You're ready to learn. And
Mm.
that's when the client is ready to teach
Mm.
and be with you. Even if you make mistakes, they are there to support you.
Yes.
And that this is something that you're not taught. And we are taught to talk
Mm.
our way through the mistakes
Mm.
that we make.
Mm.
And we had learned to accept that, okay, this is the error that we have done.
Mm. I think that's
Before,
important.
before, before the client sees it.
And it's also a duty for us to educate our
Absolutely.
clients about
Absolutely.
things. Yeah. But
So
we are
that,
continuing from there. The education continues the same way as I was in 30 years ago. So I don't know how to bring that change.
it's
But
getting
the thing,
worse.
it's getting worse. And but the thing is, again, women in architecture itself is not a subject in architecture, you know.
Exactly.
So that brings me to the next question, because somehow if we don't talk about women in architecture, we don't talk about architecture for women, which is an important topic.
Major thing.
I'm not linking, yeah, I'm not linking them, but still nature based, architecture for children, architecture for elderly, all these things somehow gets lost in the conversation, because when we talk about architecture for all, unfortunately it unfolds as architecture for men, whether it is design of kitchen, design of toilet, design of public space. So that is so well normalized in our everyday life. The education also normalizes it. So that is where, I mean, I'm not linking that having more women in architecture will solve this problem, but there is definitely something we can talk about it. And that brings me to my second last question to you today. Imagine a hypothetical situation, and it will be nice to imagine because
Huh.
three of you, Meenaben and Madhviben, are I'm so fond of you three girls. uh, Imagine a situation either in the past, in your time, or in the future. All famous architects in the country or in the world, you can imagine, your scale is no limit, were women architects. I would like to visualize the situation from Parul's lens. How would cities and communities then look? What will be the difference than the way today we are?
Oh, they would be so different.
Yes, so what?
Definitely. They would be so different. They would be so people friendly, children friendly, because we understand, we go through them,
Hmm.
those situations. We understand a child more than because you've given birth to that child. You're
Hmm.
looking after that child. So you understand that child more than the needs than a male person would.
Hmm.
And
But will that translate into their architecture?
I think so. I think so.
Hmm.
I mean, I really feel so.
At
Say
least in
for
your work, it
children,
is visible. In Meena Pen's and Madhvi's work, I can see. Yes.
and also we will, I think, become more compassionate in for the cities also. You would want to see that there is comfort. You want to see that there are shaded streets. You want to see that you're thinking of a lot of things which males take it for granted. Many women clients have complained, or friends, that they have employed very famous architects, and then
Hmm.
they would say, you don't need a storeroom these days because you can
Hmm.
get everything off the shelf in the shop.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
storeroom was age-old idea when you were
Hmm.
had to
Hmm.
store everything for a year. I
Hmm.
still store my grains for the whole year.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't go looking for it in the shop. I
Hmm.
buy it once in a year.
Hmm.
And that, and she says, I don't have a storeroom in my kitchen house.
Hmm. Hmm.
So these are the kinds of things that uh, males don't understand. At the same time, another couple, my colleagues, Alka and Vidu Chavda,
Hmm.
they do insist that 25% of your house area should have services, should be
Hmm.
allocated to services.
Hmm.
I couldn't get Nimish to do that in our house.
Hmm. I could not get our kitchen on the floor in my house. And
Exactly.
telling me that how old fashioned I am, what will people think, and
Yes,
what will
yes,
family.
yes.
I so much wanted, I said, see, we cannot change the entire society for man to cook every day for me. But then at least can the kitchen be of my taste, of my requirement, because I'm very short heighted person and I love to sit on the floor. I could not convince that. So and we have a western standard or designed house where I have to put a pata and then stand and then cook for 2 hours every day. So
Yes,
so even within the same profession also this understanding is yet to arrive,
yes, yes, same thing.
then let alone changing the society, because we cannot still in my dreams I will have to expect that the man is cooking half of the time, so the
Ah,
kitchen can be designed for both the genders. And it is possible nowadays that you design for
yes,
all gender kind of things. So kitchen is just one place, because then cooking comes into whose responsibility is cooking. Likewise, whose responsibility is giving birth to child? Of course,
yes,
giving birth to child will be woman's responsibility, but cooking does not remain woman. Likewise,
absolutely.
designing public spaces for that matter. So, I mean,
See,
these
for a
questions
pregnant
to
woman,
understand for a
to
pregnant woman.
understand, yeah, to understand a pregnant woman, it's something else. Then if
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, see, these kind of questions can go on and on, but
yeah,
we have to bring closure to respect your time as well. That brings me to the last question of the session today, and it is a message for younger generation, irrespective of gender. To be honest, all the younger generation, small behavioral change we should bring so that more women feel comfortable in the profession to be successful in future. What will be your take? You have lived decades in practicing. And do you see
I
a change over
small,
the years in the
I
younger
see the
generation?
change over the years that
Hmm.
at least students have started accepting females more,
Hmm.
and many mothers have now insisted that their son also learns to cook
Hmm.
and take up responsibilities in the house as well.
Hmm.
This is the change that I have seen.
But in the
And
profession, what do you think we should do? Small behavioral change.
in profession for women, I don't know, but in profession, one thing that people need to do is go and work as apprentice
Okay,
on the
very
site,
important. Hmm.
and actually after 3 years, 1 year they have to spend on site, not in the
Hmm.
office.
Hmm.
It is not the office training that is required. What is required is
Hmm.
the site training. Only then they will be able
Hmm.
to design properly, then they will be
Hmm.
able to do the drawings properly. Today,
Hmm.
even a master's
Hmm.
graduate cannot
Hmm.
really do working drawings properly.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
They don't really visualize in
Hmm.
3 dimension.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
is very much essential that we have to change that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Agreed that
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
think it is for us to just design utopian things.
Hmm. Hmm. That's the modern architecture education. Hmm.
Exactly. But if you can't build, you can't understand the construction system, how are you
Hmm.
going to design properly?
Hmm.
if you don't know how to do the maintenance of whatever you design, how do you, you'll never be able to design the buildings that really work.
Hmm. So do
And
lot of
our
internships,
clients,
lot of training.
yes, it's from our clients that we have learned. Like when you're working in the hospitality sector,
Hmm.
people like Mr. Oberoi and Arvind Singh ji, they would first ask, okay, how is that cleaning going to be done?
Hmm.
Having a chandelier, fine. What is the height, and then what equipments I'll have to get?
Hmm.
And will that equipment come into this space?
Hmm.
Functionality is the thing, and they have to be so careful about maintaining
Hmm.
every aspect, everything. And they are one of the best, hoteliers.
Hmm.
They're looking at
Absolutely.
every detail counts. And they want to understand the client and their guest and cater to every need of the guest. And that
Hmm.
is the way we architects should do,
Yes, we
learn
have
from
to
that.
serve, yeah, serve in every needs of the people.
This glass boxes, this is
Hmm.
what has created the climate issues,
Yeah,
concrete
heat
and
stress
glass.
is new problem in the country.
Yes,
Not new, but it has now become too
become a
big.
major,
Hmm.
yes. And but they don't realize that all this started with light bulb conspiracy
Yes.
in Europe.
Yes.
Whereas that light bulb, which was made first, is still a light. It has not fused. It's been more than
Hmm.
100 years, right?
Yes.
But it is these
Yes.
companies who came together to
Hmm.
decide that, if we don't make products that have short lives, we will not be able to run our industry.
Yes.
Even
You
after
hmm.
making
Hmm.
profits.
Hmm.
And that is what we have to understand. The students have
Hmm.
to understand this.
Yes. You made a very important point that it's not only what you do in the profession, but important to learn to serve the needs,
Yes.
but also important to learn the kind of politics which goes around in building industry.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yes.
what sells, what does not sell. Now everybody is looking for oxygen, machines and looking for.
Yes.
We
Yes.
started with air conditioning just few decades ago. Now it's without
Yes.
that we cannot live.
Can't
And
live.
I know in your buildings, and you people have really worked hard to see how cooling can be taken care and all those things. And
Yes.
so there are alternatives. So look for alternatives as well. Okay.
Absolutely.
That actually brings me to all the questions closure from my end. But Parul, last question is for you. If you have any question for me, you may pose it. Otherwise, I'll do the vote of thanks.
If anyone else wants to ask any questions.
Yes, that is also an option. Yes, I also had said it in the beginning. Anyone, if
Yeah.
you want to ask question to Parul or even to me, I'm open to answer. Let me just check also YouTube. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are live there as well. No, I don't see
Okay.
any question there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Okay,
Okay.
so you don't have any question for me, and I see our participants don't have question for you. So let me just do the vote of thanks then. Um, First of all, thank you so much, Parul, for this enlightening session. May you remain inspiration, and I really am grateful that I could learn an ounce something from you at this 1 hour because it's never going to be enough. But the thing is, I would really like to live a day when we don't have to talk about women or men in architecture. It has to, because the profession is gender neutral or gender less, if we can put it in that way. And I do hope that we arrive to that stage. But this research is a very small contribution to walking towards that stage when we talk about an
Right.
equitable profession, because we all would like to have a equitable and sustainable built environment. There's definitely a disclaimer in this kind of research is that we don't claim that having more women will not only engender the profession and practice, but it will be also, making the built environment equitable and sustainable. Having said that, the statistics tells that there is a possibility, but it is more about feministic values and about being more masculine in the approach. The more I'm interacting with all these emphatic, enlightened women, I'm realizing the deep contribution you all are making in not only engendering the profession and practice, but also delimiting the very definition, as I am very keen from this research as an outcome, that you are also redefining the way architecture should be looked at. Although these conversations are about women, but through women's voices, we are also seeing that architecture itself needs a reform. And who better can be the reformers than these women we talk about? We shall continue with our interactions on women in architecture to learn more about their endeavors, and through their endeavors, we also learn more about the profession. Next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. Indian time, we have another one of my ideal, I will say, inspiration, Madhvi Desai, to celebrate the 75th session as we celebrated 74th session with Parul Javeri. I shall connect with all of you outside. If you know someone who has worked in this field of architecture or built environment as willing to contribute to our research, please connect with me with them, because our success rate is barely 10% when I reach out to people. So thank you
Okay.
so much, Parul, for this conversation. Please take care and keep inspiring us.
Thank you for asking me to talk to you and, sharing some of my views on this topic, which is a favorite topic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Please take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.